G'day, how you going? So we're going to move on to the off-board flash, the speed light. These are called speed lights or off-board flashes. You can have them on board as well. I'll show you some examples of what I did. I mean, it's not technical or anything. I wasn't playing around with stops and counting numbers and stuff. I just put it on all the settings and eventually found the right one. And so the GODOX TT350 is the one that I used, and I was only using the light sensor here at the front. I've got the radio trigger, but I haven't used that yet. I found with only one flash, that's enough. Unless you're outside and the sun hits that and goes off automatically. Inside it's fine, you know, you just have to point it where you want. So I'll show you the settings and then I'll quickly move into some examples that I did. Put it on the shoe, tighten it up because the contacts are the important bit there. Just turn it on, and then when you're on the camera you press the mode button and you go to TTL and turn it on, and it's picked it up. And so if I put it in aperture priority, now that's completely automatic. So if I go into here, you can put it in fill-in flash, or you can just put it in auto there. So everything's auto. Alright, so when you take a shot now, it automatically flashes. Because you're in TTL, which stands for through the lens, well, the flash really is in full automatic with the camera. So that's why they say through the lens. So the flash will base its strength of power based on the settings and the exposure that the camera has decided. Basically, it's just auto mode. Alright, let's just take some examples. I'm going to need a model, so I've got my nephew Albert. Okay, so how do you want me to stand? Alright, so just stand there. So just move your face to the left. This way. No, your left. My left or your left? That way. Alright. I'll see you later, Uncle Rob. So let's put the speed light on top of the camera. So it just goes into the shoe. Helps if I put it on the right way. Hello. There, it clicks. Alright, so let's turn it on. This one. Alright, push it forward. Yep. Give it a test shot. Yep. It's on aperture priority 5.6. The shutter speed's at 80. ISO auto is 200. Alright, so that looked a bit too flash brighty like. So let's try the ceiling, because the ceiling's white and it's pretty close. So just push it up a little bit forward. The thing here, that catch light thing, so the little white thing that pops up, so that will like do catch light in your eyes, and it'll bounce off the roof, and then let's see what that looks like. So as you can see, it's much spread out. The light's more spread out, and there's not that harsh flat look on your face. It's more spread out. So just that alone is pretty good. With this zoom thing up here, when you're in TTL mode, it's automatic. You can press the zoom button and you can manually do it if you want. If you've got a lens that's not auto zoom, or if the flash is off the camera and you need to set the lens to you set the the zoom of the flash to the zoom of the lens, you can do it manually that way, or you can just go leave it in auto, and then I'll show you if you've got a zoom and you zoom in with the lens. I'll show you there. See, it matches. I'm turning the lens and it matches the zoom of the lens. Alright, let's try it off the flash. I'll put it on the tripod. I've got some light coming from the window, and I'll get the light on the other side with the flash. So I've just popped the flash up, and that's going to hit the infrared thing here, and that's going to fire it off. It's from the pop-up flash. So let's see if this works. The flash is in manual mode, alright, and then I've put it on slave 1. So that didn't work. I think what's happening is I can see that the flash is going off, but I'm in auto there. What's happening is, because I'm on slave 1 on the flash, it's seeing the first flash firing, and then the second flash here takes the shot, so it's out of sync. So having it off the camera, when you're in TTL, that doesn't fire that off, so you've got to put it in manual there. So once you're in manual, you can pick slave 1 or slave 2. Now that all depends on what you're doing in here. If you're in auto flash or fill-in flash, it's going to fire the second flash, so you really should be in slave 2. Now it was working before, but now it's not happening. So S2, it's not happening. I don't know. So it's very unreliable, I found. So it's just easier to just put it in slave 1. There, so it's in slave 1, it's in manual, and then on here, when you're in slave 1, it'll go off on the first flash, but the first flash when you're in auto is only just to read the light. So the best way is to just take it off auto and put it in manual. The manual there, and then you can muck around with the strength of this front one. I always leave it on the lowest one, just so I can get this to read it and fire and not interfere. And then on this, you have it on slave 1, and that's guaranteed that the flash will sync with the first flash and take the shot. There you go. Okay, yeah, so that works. So the speed light is on slave 1 and it's on manual here, but it's way too bright there. So let's adjust the severity of the power of both flashes. All right, so I've put it on manual and 164. That's the smallest, the less brightest it'll go to. And on the flash, I'll set it to, let's go to the lowest, see what that does first. Yeah, and that turned out better. It's just playing around with the severity of the light, positioning it, and a lot of fiddling around, I guess, to try and get the best combination. I guess the more experience you get, write it down and stick with that. With flash exposure compensation, you can either do it through the camera like I showed you. You can even do it on the flash. So you just, when you're in the front page there, you just hit enter, and then you can, that's 1 stop, 2 stops. It goes up to 3 stops, and same. All that's doing is the power of the flash. So when you're in manual, you can, using the wheel, you can set the power of the flash. It's measured in stops. 1/1 is full power, 1 stop less power, another stop less power, another stop less power, and so on. Oh yeah, this one here, that button there, that's just to test it. This one here is sync. So when you press that one, it's high speed sync. So if you want to go to a higher speed, normally flashes only go up to like 200, 180, 250. With high speed sync, you can go whatever you want. That's good when you're outside and it's too bright and you have to increase the shutter speed to reduce the light. Your ambient light's okay, and then you can fill in with flash or whatever. One thing they say, it bloody drains the battery a lot because it's just always flashing like that, you know. Don't use it too much because you'll be changing batteries all the time. Yeah, so I started mucking around. I think I did 164 power on the flash, and I even put it up to 250 speed, shutter speed there at 6.3. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the umbrella because it's still a little bit harsh there. So maybe the umbrella might do something. I'm trying to get that split thing, you know, like the Beatles. So I bought this umbrella, comes with the stand that from Newer, just goes on top like that. You remember always for that thing to face the camera because that's what picks it up. You can turn there into the umbrella. You can get different umbrellas. That one there was like a translucent one where it's like a soft box, and then you can get these ones. I'll show you how they work. They just chuck it in there. You can move it up and down with these buttons here. So that's going to flash into it and bounce the light back. So what you're doing is you're making a small light turn into a bigger light, so it's going to be less harsh. And then if you want, you can also get these gold ones, and that gives you more of like a sunset, you know, warmer color. Or you just have it on the camera like that without any umbrella, and that's just like someone else's hand there. And then I just put a dodgy, you know, sheet there just as a backdrop. So that's just a small setup. I mean, it cost me about $50 for that. I mean, obviously the flash, and that's nothing. That cost me nothing. I bought a black backdrop with a reversible white just to make life easier without crushing, you know, trying to crush the colors too much. Yeah, I tried a few different strengths, and then you can obviously you got to airbrush that out. Anyway, thanks for that. So as you can see, I was not doing it technically like with mathematics and counting stops and stuff, but you can get away, you know, if you want, without thinking too much, just by setting the strength of this and figuring out the ambient light and then mixing it with this light. Now, there are a few tips that I had there where with the grey backdrop, you don't need a completely black drop. You can get away with any colour really, but I mean, the darker the better, to crush that backlight and make it all black. That was one tip. I think what I do is you move away from the backdrop, so the subject is further away. So when you're moving away from the backdrop, the light from the forward light and this light isn't capturing it as much. It's not lighting it up as much, and then you get that black backdrop. Da. Eh. Eh.